Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Write or Die Show. I am your host, Randi-lee. On today's episode, I am going to be talking to James Stokes, and I'm so excited. This is like a dream come true, and you'll find out why. He's so cool. All right, let's go. Welcome, James. I cannot tell you how excited I am to have you on the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm very excited.
So first, I want you to show everybody your shirt because it's super cool.
Yep. My shirt is Voorhees, Night of the Beast. I play Jason. Yep. I can show you. This is the actual mask from the movie. This is what I would look like without the mask.
So cool. So yes. Anybody who knows me knows that I love all things horror. So
that's awesome.
So excited. And for everybody who is listening through the podcast, I'm sorry that you didn't get to see the masks, but I don't know, jump on YouTube for a hot second and go look.
That's right. That's right.
Super cool. So, I mean, we know that you're an actor, but tell us a little bit more about who you are.
Well, my name is James Stokes. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. For 15 years of my life, I was EMT, paramedic. So did that and became an actor about 9.5 years ago, I guess it was, almost 10. I've done some short films and some independent films and stuff like that. Was in a couple of different big movies as extras and stuff like that, and decided that this is what I wanted to do, and started pursuing acting a little bit more. Got an agent now here in Nashville, and then here recently I just signed with a manager out of LA. She lives in Dallas, but I've got a manager now out of LA, and so she's been keeping me very busy. The horror genre is probably my forte, I guess you'd say. I'm kind of a big guy. I'm 6'2", I weigh about 225, 230. So, you know, I stay in pretty good shape and get to play a monster a lot. And that's how I got to be Jason. I was on a film with Jason Pitts, our director and writer for Jason Voorhees, Night of the Beast. And we just sat down and talked one time, and he said that he had this idea, and he came up with the idea of Jason Voorhees, Night of the Beast. And I told him, I said, if you ever need me to play Jason, I said, I would love it. And nothing came of it for a while. And then all of a sudden, one day out of the blue, he wrote me and said, I want you to be my Jason. And so from there, it's just been a whirlwind of emotions and everything else, because getting to play an iconic character like that is an absolute dream come true for me. I mean, I love everything horror. I mean, and it's great to be able to bring a character that I grew up watching to life, you know.
This is a dream come true, interviewing a horror actor and somebody that I grew up, a character I grew up watching.
That's awesome. So yeah, and I really appreciate the time. Anytime that I can promote my movies and stuff, I love to do that. I feel that passionate about being an actor, and so I love it. But like I said, I live here in Nashville. It's a really good place to live. I've got an international airport. I just last year went to Romania and shot a Lionsgate film called Adrenaline that'll be out later this year, and well, probably first of next year. It'll be out on DVD. I was going to say,
not much of this year left.
No, it'll be streaming. It'll be next year when it comes out, I think, because it takes after production of a film, it takes anywhere between 8 and 10 months of post-production to get it all finished and all that stuff. People don't realize that sometimes. And sometimes the Hollywood films they put them out pretty quick. So, but yeah, this film is called Adrenaline. It's going to be it's an action film with Louis Mandylor, Costas Mandylor. So it's got some name talent in it. And and I've got some other things coming up, some other horror films that I'll be working on in January, and stuff like that. So
that's awesome. So you've definitely, dove headfirst into this career and making the most of it. Yeah,
I did. Yes. I mean, I literally stopped a career job to become an actor, and I jumped headfirst into it. And it's been a sometimes hard road, and you know, you got to have a tough skin to be in this business. You're going to get told no a whole lot more than you're going to get told yes. And so, you know, you may do 10 auditions and think you killed it, and you never hear nothing back from them. You know, you may have the wrong look, you may have the wrong voice, you may have too much facial hair or not enough facial hair, or whatever. You don't know the reason that you don't get picked. But at the same time, there's always that one that comes along that's like this Jason Voorhees playing this role that is, it's kind of like golf. You know, you'll have 20 bad shots, and then that one good shot makes you keep coming back. You know?
Yeah, really.
So yeah, so now I do have some good things coming up in January. I have Reunion from Hell 2 that I was in the first one, Reunion from Hell. It had Kathy Podwell in it, but this next one's going to have Lisa Wilcox in it, and I'll be. And Lisa Wilcox is from, oh my goodness, I mean, people go look up Lisa Wilcox. She's absolutely amazing. She was in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4, and so many different other films that, and I mean, the accolades this lady has is amazing. She's absolutely beautiful.
See, and I need to meet her because Nightmare on Elm Street is my absolute favorite horror series. Absolute favorite.
Really? Yeah. Well, and speaking of that, you know, I'm getting to work with two of the FX guys that helped do Nightmare on Elm Street. Nick Benson and Nick Strawn. I love those guys to death. I met Nick in Vegas on the movie Macabre, where that's another horror film, of course, and it was played in the Mothman. So the Mothman series of the movie, and then Mick, he is I mean, they did Leatherface, they did Tremors, they did Nightmare on Elm Street, they did, I mean, so much. I mean, these guys have just done so much in the horror business. But getting to work with Lisa is going to be fantastic on Reunion from Hell 2. We're going to shoot that up around Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and North Carolina, stuff like that. And then I'm going out to Vegas to shoot Campfire, which that's already on my IMDb, so I can go ahead and announce that. And that's got some big name talent that I'm very, very excited to work with. Dee Wallace from Cujo, from E.T., the mother in E.T. So, you know, I'm getting to work with people like that. And it's just, and Lisa will be in that movie as well with me. Yeah. So looking. So cool. I got some really good things coming up. So
that's exciting.
I'm very excited.
How long were you an EMT for?
Well, for, I guess about 13 or 14 years. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that's a long time, really, to then go, I'm going to totally switch careers.
It was, yeah. And before that, I worked at a factory for 15 years. So, I mean, it's literally, I mean, I haven't had very many jobs in my life because I stay at them, you know, when I get them. But and it's just, I guess it's a dream. And, you know, people always say they have dreams, and sometimes life gets in the way, and you settle down, and then you settle for what you have.
I feel like you're calling me out right now. Because I remember when I first talked to you last week, and I said, oh, when I was little, I was going to be an actor. But then I had a baby.
and life gets in the way, you know, and life gets in the way. And then my kids got a lot older. I have 3 wonderful children, and they're great. But they got older, and I've decided that I wanted to pursue something that I've always dreamed about.
Yes.
I have always been a performer for the most part. I sang and danced professionally for 5 years. I mean, I've been a performer pretty much all my life. So singing was one of my, I mean, that's what I love to do, you know, sing and perform for people. Well, then acting, it was just a totally different source of entertainment. And I just, I fell in love with it. And literally when you do a movie or a short film or anything, you get that, what they call the acting bug. And it's like, I want to do this. And you start late in life, but I mean, look at Morgan Freeman. I mean, he was in his late 50s before he even started. And now look at him today. I mean, he's just amazing.
He's like a top of the top.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's the best of the best. Not to say that I'm ever going to be that. I'm striving to be that, but I'm striving to be that. So whether I make it or not, people are going to see that I'm dedicated to my craft and dedicated to something that I'm working hard to get, if I don't succeed at it, it's not going to be because I didn't try. It's not going to be because I didn't pursue it. It's not going to be because I listened to other people say, you're too old, you're starting too late, you're not good enough, all that. You know what? Maybe I'm not.
Yeah.
But I'm going to find that out myself.
Yeah. This is a great segue into the main topic of this show and mental health and stuff, because all of those negative people saying, like you said, you're too old, you're too late, whatever, that's not an easy thing to hear. And you said it already before, you have to have a really thick skin to be in this career. And I think you have to have a thick skin whenever you're looking for a job in general. So in my past life, I was an employment counselor, and I would have lots of clients coming in and say, oh, I interviewed, but I didn't get it. And when you are going and you're trying to get these jobs, whether it's, you're an actor or just a regular job, it's not easy to keep getting told no.
No, not at all. And okay, and I've got a perfect example, and I'll use the Jason Voorhees movie to do it. I've been promoting this movie for almost a year, and here and there. I went to Louisa, Kentucky, 2 weeks prior to us going down there to film, and they had this September Fest, and and the mayor was so gracious to allow me to get up there and promote this film, because it's coming to his town, and it's coming to their community and stuff like that. And his name is Harold Sloan, and him and Marsha, they are unbelievable people. I mean, I love them to the ends of the earth. And so when they allowed me to get on stage and to tell about the movie, to promote myself, to promote Jason, to promote pretty much Hollywood coming to their small community and making a name, there was this kid that saw me there. And no, a lot of kids saw me there. But this kid, right after 2 weeks after I left, got diagnosed with leukemia. In itself is just what it is. It is what it is. But his dad wrote me while I was down there. And he said, is there any way that you can make a video? He loves Jason. He saw you. Is there any way you can make a video as Jason and talk to him and just, kind of cheer him up a little bit? Well,
it's okay. Take your time.
It touched me. And I said, of course I would, So I asked the director and I asked the cinematographer if they would film me, in the mask and in the suit and everything, so I could make a little video for him. And I did that. And then 2 days prior to us being done filming, he said that he was getting out of the hospital and was going to be coming home, and asked me if I could meet him. And I said, absolutely, I would love to. Well, I got the director, Jason, and we got him a shirt, and got him, and I had the mask and everything on, and him and his dad, they just left the hospital and stopped in at this little diner where we were shooting, and we waited for an hour or so after we was done shooting just for him to get there. And he got out of the car, and of course, he's been through a lot, this kid. And he's 15. I think he's 15 now, 14, 15. And just meeting him and giving him a signed shirt and hugging him and talking to him for the 15, 20 minutes that we did it, his dad wrote me and said that meant everything to him.
Yeah.
So that in itself, if that's all I ever accomplished.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that story. That is so awesome. And it really goes to show that it's small things that really make a big difference. Because that wasn't like, to that kid and to that father, that is a huge grand gesture that you did. That was huge. But really, it was something so small. Like you said, 15, 20 minutes of a chat.
Yeah.
Here's a shirt.
I mean, it right? Just, yeah. And to me, I'm just, I did it for him. I don't do it for anybody else. I didn't let people know that was happening. I just did it for this kid, and it's just. But when people ask me about it, I want to tell people about it, because when people tell me you're not making it, or you're not going to make it, or whatever, you know what? I already have.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that kid looks at me as Jason, and he loves this. And people look at horror all the time and want to put it down and stuff, but it's just like, why? I mean, it's I don't know. I don't know. It's just, like I said, it's a hard business. It is. It's a hard business, and you're not going to please everybody. You're not going to make everybody happy. So you got to make yourself happy, and as long as yourself is happy, then life is good.
Exactly. Yeah. And actually, so sometimes I wonder if what I'm doing is making a difference, right? Because I'm just like sitting here in my basement talking to people about mental health, or when I make my TikToks or whatever. And when my brother died, so my brother died in March of this year. And if anybody hasn't watched, I did an entire episode about it way back. So it's posted on the YouTube channel and on the podcast. It's called Loving an Addict. If you haven't watched it, go back. You might cry a little bit. And at the viewing, my cousin from Toronto, she came down, and as much as we weren't supposed to hug each other because of COVID, it's not going to stop anybody. So we're standing in the parking lot. My cousin comes over. She gives me a hug. And I wasn't crying at this point. I was holding it together pretty good. As long as I wasn't in the room with his body, I was okay. As soon as I would look at him, then tears and everything. But so I was standing there, and my cousin gave me a hug, and she goes, "What you do is making a difference." And I just started bawling. And for like a good 5 minutes, I'm just crying because somebody is noticing. And I've had a few other people say stuff like that to me too, and it makes me want to keep going. But yeah, it's those simple, small things that we don't realize the kind of impact that we're making, whether you're talking directly about mental health or you're just making a horror movie that you're just killing people, but it's making a difference in people's lives. And it's so nice sometimes to hear that for ourselves, because I second guess myself sometimes and go, am I really, like, should I just give up? Should I stop doing this? And no, just like you, like, it makes such a big difference for people.
Yeah. Well, there are times where you think, is this worth it? Is it, I'm struggling here, I'm struggling, but I think it is worth it. And I'm not going to give up, and I'm not going to stop, and I'm not going to quit. And so, yeah. And I love it.
Yeah. So when you're having some days where you're kind of thinking, should I quit? Should I give up? What is something that you do to kind of bring yourself out of
that? Sometimes I go back and watch the stuff that I've done. Sometimes, I go, I'm not gonna lie. Everybody's got to have a way out, and mine is the gym. I mean, I work out.
Good one. That is a good one.
Yeah, and I literally go to the gym 6-7 days a week, and I'm in there. And if I'm having a really bad day, I may be in there for 3 hours. And and it's like, I literally just, everybody's got to have their out, whether it be going out and sitting around a campfire, or going out and having a drink, or whatever, as long as you don't overdo it and hurt yourself. And I'm not promoting drinking at all, but at the same time, that's some people's out, but everybody's got to have their thing.
I mean, you're going out to drink could just be to Starbucks. So I just discovered this wonderful drink at Starbucks, strawberry acai lemonade. If anybody wants,
right?
I don't drink coffee, so. But yeah, going out to have a drink doesn't mean alcohol. It could just be
not at all.
Going to a coffee shop.
Exactly. And so, but you got to find your out. So when you're having bad days, and I do, everybody, I mean, you do. I mean, sometimes living in this apartment that I live in, it really bothers me, because it's not, it's not home, as far as that goes to me. So But the travel in the movie business is wonderful. I get to see places I've never seen before. The people that I meet are absolutely amazing. And the connections and the friends that I have made over these last several years are priceless. And, you got to treat people the way you want to be treated. And if that happens, then you're going to be okay. You're still going to run into those that's going to be negative all the time about everything. Let it go. Just let it go. Let those people say what they want to and walk away. Be the bigger man, as they say, and just walk away. And I've done that a lot. And that's the reason I've kept myself grounded, is because if I allow these people to get into my head, I'm going to fail. But I'm going to fail because they didn't make me fail. Mm-hmm. I'm allowing them. I'm allowing myself to let them make me fail, and that's my fault.
I love how you're saying that, because it's all about setting boundaries with those people. They can 100%. Say what you cannot control. And I say this to my kid all the time. I've said this to my kid since like kindergarten, because he was picked on. He was bullied right in kindergarten. There was this one, oh my goodness. Okay. So there was this one really, really mean boy in his school. And I remember I was dropping him off at kindergarten one day, and the parents have to wait there until the kids go in, and the kids all line up outside the door to wait for the teacher to go. So my kid is standing there. This little boy stands in front of him. He turns around and spits in my kid's face. Just spits, like for no reason. My kid didn't even say anything to him. He just turns around, spits in his face. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm just dumbfounded that this actually happened in front of adults. And the mom or grandma or whoever it was that was with that boy is just standing there. And my kid looks at me and is like crying. And I go, you know what? It's okay. We'll let the teacher know that this happened, because this is not okay. And I'm looking at the parent like, you're not going to say anything? Like, we're going to let the teacher know, because this is not okay. And we did. We told the teacher, whatever. But I'm like, how does that even happen? Yeah. And so it's learning how to, and I mean, that's a pretty extreme one, because most people don't come and literally spit in your face, but spitting in your face with negative words is not okay either, right? So if these people are spewing their negativity at you, you set that boundary to yourself, and you just, though there's like this invisible shield, and I'm not saying it's easy to do. There's this invisible shield that those words, what is that? I'm rubber, you are glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me, sticks to you. Right, yeah. I don't know if that's just in Canada, but we say that.
That's fun.
And so let it bounce off of you, because most of the time their negativity is more of an insecurity on themselves. So
100%. And you know what? If they're having a bad day, look at them and say, I'm sorry you're having a bad day, but you're not going to bring me down. And it's just people, life is tough enough. They don't need help going through life. Life is tough enough. And there's no reason to make life any harder on anybody else. Just be kind to somebody. Just be kind to one another. As Ellen says, and after every one of her shows, just be kind to one another. Yeah. And I love Ellen. I love everything about her, and her heart is amazing. So, but it's just, I don't know. It's just so hard. And going through life, again, set boundaries for yourself. Yeah. And set goals for yourself.
That's a great one too.
Regardless if you reach them, set goals for yourself and reach for those goals. Yeah. Don't stop until those goals, and you're not going to reach all of them. Sometimes, that's another thing about setting goals and expectations in your life. Don't set them to where they're so far ahead of you that you can't reach them.
Yes.
Set small goals to accomplish. It's just like making your bed. You make your bed every morning, you've already accomplished that one goal. If you can do that, you can do anything else throughout the entire day.
Yeah. And I love that. And set goals that you have control over, because
absolutely,
you can't control other people's actions or other people's responses to you. All you can do is control yourself. So don't set a goal that relies on somebody else, because you can't control that. Only do a goal that you can actually manage and you can come through with.
That's exactly right. So, and that's what I'm trying to do. I set small goals for myself, and I try to achieve them. it's just like this Jason, I keep going back to the Jason, this Jason film is very big for me. It's very, very big for me.
I can't
People
wait
don't
to see
understand.
it. I'm gonna
Oh, it's
open
gonna be
my
amazing.
door. I'm gonna open my door to the street and be like, I know this guy. Nobody's gonna know what I'm talking about, but I'm so gonna do that.
That's gonna do it. Thank you so much. But it's just going back to that film. It means so much to me. I mean, I don't know how many times I cried on set. I don't know how many times I hugged the director's neck. I don't know how many times that I, just the other cast members, thanking them for being there. I was a producer on the movie as well. And just everybody came together and made a very, very good horror film.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are going to say there is no such thing as a good horror film, but there is a good horror film. There's lots of good horror films.
Tons of them.
Right.
Horror is my favorite.
Yes, I'm a Bigfoot fanatic. I love Bigfoot. I love the whole thing about the paranormal, the area. I love it. And whether people believe in it or not, it doesn't matter.
It's fun to watch. I love it.
It's fun to
my
watch.
husband hates horror. Absolutely hates horror. So when we first started dating, so we've been together now 15 years. When we first started dating, he watched 2 horror movies to impress me. And after that, he's like, okay, you're not going anywhere. I'm not watching these. It's not a thing.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. So, yeah. But anyway, that's in a nutshell, that's me. I mean, that's what I do. And
so what is your next goal? Because I mean, you finished filming Jason, right? It's done.
Yes, we're finished. We wrapped with that in Arkansas. Yep, that's in post-production right now, being edited. My next big thing is Reunion from Hell.
Yep.
Well, I take that back. I will be out I'm supposed to be out in Vegas first at the 1st of January. I'll be in Vegas and LA. I have some things with my manager in LA that I have to do. And then I'll be in Vegas starting to shoot Campfire. I'll come back to North Carolina at the end of January. I think January 29th, I think we start filming that. We're there for 10 days and I'll be in North Carolina for shooting that. And then I'll go back to Vegas to continue shooting Campfire until March.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll be out there for a while, it looks like. So
you got your next few months all ready to go with your goals.
I do, yes. So, yep. And so anyway, that's the way it looks.
Nice. When is Jason slated to actually come out?
I don't know the exact date. I don't. They're hoping by... Well, I don't even want to give a date because I don't know. I don't. I'm not going to rush the editor. I don't care when it comes out. I just want it to be edited and sounding and looking the best it possibly can. Yeah. And I'm telling you, some of the special effects in this, some of the fight scenes that we have in this were absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. And with me and Jacob Southwick, which is Madman Fulton, a pro wrestler. In
nice.
Impact Wrestling. He's almost 7 foot tall, and me and him had some great scenes together. All the actors that were in it, every one of them were amazing. They played their parts to a T.
Yeah.
It's just we all came together and made a great film. And the vision that Jason Pitts had was absolutely stunning and amazing. So I think you're going to love the film.
Yeah, we'll be sure to share out when you share with us the release date. I will be sure to share that out with all of our listeners.
Oh yeah, me and you.
Obviously, they want to know.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch, me and you, and all that, and be able to give you dates and stuff like that, and maybe get back on here and tell everybody when it is and all that. So.
Yeah. So what is a piece of advice that you have for somebody who is struggling with, and because this has been one of the main topics of our conversation, what is something you tell somebody who is struggling with other people's negative talk and it's really getting to them? Because I mean, having boundaries, we say do it, but it doesn't make it easy. So what should they do?
First and foremost is take yourself out of that situation. There's no reason to stand there, to sit there and listen to someone be negative, talk down to you. There's no reason to listen to that. You can always take yourself out of the situation. That's the first and foremost. If you can't get out of the situation, let them talk. Let them spill their guts. Let them make an idiot out of themselves. Let them say whatever they need to, agree with them, and walk off. their words are not going to hurt you. Their words are making themselves look stupid. Don't fight back. Don't argue back. You argue back with someone like that, you are going to prolong any conversation that you have with that person. Let that person say what they need to say, let them get it out, and then walk away. Because I guarantee you, the rest of the day, you're going to be okay, and they're not.
Yes.
Karma, excuse my language, is a bitch, and it will come back to them, and it will. And I hate saying that, but I don't hate saying it because it does happen. Yeah. You want to be negative to me? Go ahead and be negative to me. First and foremost, I'm going to take myself out of there's nobody's going to keep me in any situation that I don't want to be in. Mm-hmm. Any person out there that's going through that, get yourself out. There's help out there. There's people you can call. You have friends. You call me. I guarantee you, I'll come anyway. I do not like bullying.
I am right now picturing you coming in like the full Jason uniform. I'm here to set your boundaries.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't like bullying, and I'm a big enough guy that I'm 6'2" and weigh about 230. So I'm big enough to where, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, but at the same time, take yourself out of that situation. I don't care if you're 4'1" or if you're 6'8", 10. Yeah. Take yourself out, because anybody can be bullied. I don't care how big you are, what color you are, what race you are, what anything. Anybody can be bullied, and that happens every day.
Yes.
So when you're in a state like that, first and foremost, take yourself out of the situation. If you can't, let them talk. Sit there, look at them, let them have their say thank you, and walk away. Yeah. Because that's going to make you the bigger person. That's going to make you feel better about yourself, because you did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And you just made an idiot out of somebody.
And when you say thank you to somebody who is talking like that, you really piss them off. Like, honestly, exactly. Because they are there to belittle you, to, like you said, bully you. If you just 100%. Sit there, smile, like, you don't even have to listen to the words that they're actually saying because it's garbage. But after, if you go, thanks, all you're doing is them going, oh, seriously? Because right. I mean, like you said, take yourself out of the situation. I love that advice. And that's going to include friends and family. And I have said it on another episode. I don't remember which one, but I said it on another episode that just because you have always been friends with this person for 10 years, or this person is part of your family, that does not give them permission to say things that are going to hurt you. In fact, if they are your actual friends, they shouldn't even want to say those things. That's so exactly maybe right. Doing an inventory of whether or not they should still be your friend. And if it's a family member, especially if you're a child, it can be very hard to take yourself out of that situation.
And that's the reason I said there's always someone you can call.
I love that. A trusted teacher, even just in case there's any kids or teens, a trusted teacher can be somebody, a best friend's parent, if you really trust them. Because exactly I know growing up, there was times that I would tell my friends what was going on, because so a lot of people, I mean, I share my story a lot. So my ex-stepfather, I guess, he was an alcoholic, very verbally abusive in the house. And I would say that to my friends and stuff, but I never reached out to an adult for help. I never really spoke to my mom about it. I never told a teacher. I never, told anybody about it other than my friends, because as teenagers, we think I'm only supposed to talk to my friend about these things. And my kid, 15, he tells me to, if I could just talk to my friends, I'll be fine. No, you need to talk to an adult. Friends are great. Friends can be very supportive. Don't get me wrong. But as a teenager, you are still a child, and you still don't have full control of your situation. You cannot take yourself out of that situation. If it is a bad situation, you're going to need some adult support. So, talk to a teacher, a counselor, somebody that you really, really trust, aunt, uncle.
Absolutely.
So I want to make sure people know, because that's such great points that you made. And I want to be very clear about, if when you are a child, when you're a teenager, because teenagers don't think they're children, but they are.
No.
When you are under the age of 18, you're going to need support, and that is fine. And it is okay to ask for that help.
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest things is knowing that it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah. And even as adults, it is okay to ask for help.
Yes, it is.
'Cause
It's hard sometimes, but it is.
yes. I know, because you think, oh, I'm just gonna pull up my big girl panties and go
Yep.
about my day, but and that works in some situations depending what it's gonna be. But I mean,
Sure.
sometimes, I mean, I go to therapy sometimes. I haven't been in a little while because I've been pretty stable, but I went to therapy because at sometimes you need help as an adult, and that is okay.
And it's not sometimes about help. Sometimes it's just having somebody to listen. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
you may not need help at all. You just may need to listen, have someone to listen. And so, yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. It's hard sometimes.
Yeah. So, awesome advice all around. I love it all. So now tell people where they can follow you.
Well, I have a link tree that hopefully we can post, on
yeah,
Facebook.
It's definitely going to be in the description down below.
Yep.
Always,
Yep.
always.
So Linktree has everything. It has my Instagram. It has my Facebook. It has everything that
TikTok. You're on TikTok.
With. Yeah, that everybody I have that I have that I have all social media is there, and I have some films that are on there, some short films,
Yep.
some trailers and stuff like that I've got coming out. My IMDb, you can always find what I'm doing and what is upcoming that I can talk about right then. If it's already on IMDb, I can talk about it.
Yeah.
If it's not on IMDb, like some things are not yet that I can't discuss, then that'll be at a later date. So, but yeah, please look me up, actor James Stokes. Follow me. I have some really good things coming up, and I think people are going to really like it. Yeah.
And there is, I mean, not that they can't find your other films or your short films or whatever, but there is a particular show that I think a lot of people have watched and will probably not even realize they have seen you, and that is
Stranger Things. Yeah.
Yes.
Stranger Things. Yeah, that's awesome, and that show really helped me a lot, and just being on set with actors like Millie Bobby Brown and all of those kids and stuff, it really helped me, just to see the aspect of filmmaking and stuff like that. They're professionals. I mean, they are. I mean, and it's, even though they're kids, they're still professionals. And Millie Bobby Brown is one of the best. And so, yeah, it was a great experience being on that set.
Yeah. So for those of you that are going, I don't know this actor, turns out you probably do.
Yeah, I have some stuff on Prime. Silent Natural is on Prime right now. It's a true story about William Hoy.
Ooh, I have Prime.
Yeah, it's the first deaf baseball player. It's a true story. You can look him up. William Dummy Hoy is what they called him, and he played for the Reds, I think it was, back in 1800s. And
wow.
That's before they even had gloves and all that stuff. But it's a true story. It's a very emotional story about a deaf baseball player, and that's how the umpires came up with the hand signals. And it's really neat to watch. I don't want to give it away a lot.
Yeah, no, but that's really cool.
It's a good show. Yeah.
So what's the movie called again?
Silent Natural.
Okay.
So like a silent being he's deaf, and natural being a natural baseball player.
Nice.
And then got some other films that's out in DVD, like 13 Slaves to Christmas is another horror film where I play a cop in it. That's a really
I
good
saw
film.
that on your profile, and I was like, ooh,
And
this sounds interesting, and it's getting to Christmas season.
Right. And I got another movie out at Walmart called Potter's Ground. I play, I'm a stunt guy in that. I just play a werewolf in that. You don't really see me, but I mean, it's me, as far as the horror, the werewolf part of it. So yeah, I've got some good things. Look me up on IMDb, and you can see everything that I've got coming up and things that I've already done, past stuff that you can go look at. There's some short films out there that's got very, very good messages. Grievance is one of them. It's about a bullying situation as well. And me and Jacob Southwick is in that too. And I beat him up in that one again too. I'm sorry, Jacob. I just beat you up all the time. But no, he's a great guy. I am mean, I know. But it's a really good story, and it's about bullying, and it's got a good message to it. It's just a short film, so people will like that.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Any last words of wisdom? I mean, you might not, because we've talked a whole heck of a lot, but any last words of wisdom for the audience?
I just want to thank you for bringing me on and bringing up the subject about bullying and about the mental health thing. It's a big thing for me. I eventually want to get into schools and talk to kids about it, and to let them know that they have an out, and that they have a friend, and that there's ways that they can get away from bullying. And so eventually I want to get into schools and start talking about whether, I don't care if I have to wear the mask, I'll wear the mask.
I would go to that assembly. I used to hate assemblies in school, but I would go to that one.
Yeah. So, and I'm hoping I've got some access to some teachers and stuff, and I'm hoping that they will bring me in my old high school and stuff like that. And I just
if you want to travel up here to Welland, I'm sure I could get you into the school up here, but it might be far.
You set it up and I will come up there in a heartbeat. I would love to do that. I have been here lately, been getting some paid things to go talk and stuff like that. So that helps me out and it helps everybody out. And plus I have a good message to bring, I think. So because I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not. No bully scares me. So and I want everybody to know that too, especially a kid, especially an elementary and high school kid. They need to know you are not alone. Yeah. You're never alone.
And I love how you also included elementary, because so many people don't actually start talking about bullying until like high school.
Oh no. There's kids like in first, second grade are being bullied.
Right. And that's what I said earlier in the show. My kid was bullied in kindergarten, because that wasn't just a one incident with that boy. That boy constantly picked on her. And even in grade 1 and grade 2, they were in the same class again and picked on. And then it was in grade 2 that my kid, he started having night terrors. He would actually wake up in the middle of the night screaming because this kid had infiltrated his nightmares. Yeah, kind of like a little Freddy Krueger going on. So I actually had to call the school because he was starting to pretend to be sick to not go to school. So I actually called the school to talk to the teacher. And I was like, okay, what is going on right now? Like, this kid is telling my kid that he's going to kill him. Yeah. What the heck? This is not okay. No. And the teacher, blah, 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 blah. But eventually I found out that they actually were sitting beside each other during circle carpet time, like story reading time. And I'm like, well, can you separate them? Maybe. Yeah. Really? So they did get separated and eventually got switched to separate classes or whatever, but teachers, it went on for so long.
I love teachers, and they have a lot of responsibility and they have a lot on them, but they have to watch out for stuff like that. They have to, and then they have to put a stop to it, whether you go into their parents or punishing the kid or whatever they need to do, but they have to put a stop to it. They see the kid sometimes more than a parent does. So it's just and I hate putting that on a teacher, because they do have so much, and teachers are amazing and they're great. Yeah. But at the same time, they have to watch out for that. And if a kid comes to them, don't dismiss it. Don't ever dismiss it. I don't care if it's not even true. Find out. Make sure that kid is not being bullied. Watch that kid. Watch his interactions with other kids.
And if it isn't true in that specific situation, there is a reason why a child would be making up that story.
There's something going on. There may be something going on at home. I know. Exactly. I've been an EMT. I've been on the fire department. I see it all the time. Kids sometimes at home are living in a disaster, and it's sad, but they take that and they take it to school, and then they want to blame something. It's just that's a whole nother story we can talk about.
It totally is. It totally is. But such a good point that it can be, that could be a cry for help for another situation. So you really have to keep your ears and eyes open and really pay attention to that stuff. Yeah. So thank you again so much, James. Actually, one more thing I want to mention is at the beginning you were talking about goals, and one of your goals, the whole playing Jason thing. Well, one of my goals for the show was to get a famous person on it. And so you just made my goal, because you are an actor on shows that people know. And so you just made my goal. So now I got to think of a new one.
Thank you, Randy. I appreciate that so much. And I don't feel myself as famous or anything like that, but you
are now.
Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate that. And everybody just go follow me. It's great. It's going to be a fun ride. So
links in the description.
Thank you so much, Randy.
You're welcome. So again, huge thank you to James. Such a good interview. Every time I talk to him, I just get more and more information. He's such a nice person. It's amazing that he can play a mass serial killer. I guess once you put that mask on, it's like a whole different thing. That's the point of being an actor. So that was kind of like a dream come true for me on the show. So excited. To me, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm hitting it big now. Awesome. And I mean, could you imagine if I got somebody who played Freddy Krueger on here? Could it be Robert Englund, the original? That would be so cool. Anyways, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below so you can follow the show, support the show. If you want, we of course have our merch store. 10% of the proceeds goes back to the Canadian Mental Health Association. As well, we have a Patreon, so you get some behind the scenes footage, which is always so much fun. And remember that the only way to end the stigma of mental health is to speak openly and honestly. Bye.